What's good? I'm Leo G, Program Director for XM Satellite Radio's Uncensored Hip Hop Channel 66 Raw, broadcasting nationwide, coast to coast, from NY to LA. Raw, Uncensored Hip Hop. It's going down.
Tell us a little bit how you got started in the satellite radio business.
How I got started in the satellite radio business. The thing with the radio business is that it's a very small world. So my prior affiliations with guys from other what we call terrestrial radio stations from High 97 had jumped on board at XM back in the day before we had launched and had called me, yo, Leo G, we got this position available, blah, 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 hip-hop channel, uncensored, yada, 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 the rest is history. So I've been with XM Satellite Radio since its launch back in October of 2001.
We're going to call everybody that we wanted to see.
Pretty much the future.
All right, yo, I need them buttons up there.
Satellite radio is
Hey, the Butters and Don B and Chris over here.
or has it added to it as far as artists go?
Name Monica to the set, please.
You know, I probably get asked the question of how does XM Satellite Radio affect what we call terrestrial or FM radio, in probably every interview that we do. And my answer has always been terrestrial is about to be a wrap. You're about to be finished. It's over. See ya. No, I'm kidding. No, but really though, XM. I think there's a relationship that both can have and coexist. You know, from if you want to contrast between local television and cable television, you know, it's the same parallel. You know, local radio will always be here. You know, local traffic, weather, even though we have traffic and weather in about every major metro in the country. But I think everyone will be able to coexist and live in a happy, you know, medium. You got Sopranos, HBO. You still got, you know, Law and Order on NBC. So, is it going to affect terrestrial radio, traditional radio? Yes, it is going to affect it, but the medium itself is changing, you know, as far as how people listen to music, how people buy music. People don't, you know, go out and get CDs like they used to. Everybody's downloading MP3s, that whole thing. So will satellite radio affect traditional or terrestrial radio? Absolutely. It's already doing that. We're over 6 million subscribers. We put on about 20,000 subscribers a day currently, projected to have over 9 million by the end of this year, over 20 million within the next 4 years. So will it affect it? Yes. You know what I mean? Yurt?
Traditional radio, there's been a lot of talk about, you know, field and things like that.
We got Players Magazine in the building coming soon.
Artists, independent artists.
Say again.
All you ladies listen up for Players Magazine.
Independent artists get airplay.
It's going to be coming this summer.
XM radio.
Okay. Satellite radio, I think, is a saving grace for independent artists in the respect that it used to be some years ago that terrestrial radio from market to market, from New York to Baltimore to D.C. to Atlanta, Houston, L.A., will always have and show love to the local artists in their area. That's how Drew Hill got put on. You know what I mean? That's how, I mean, even currently today, that's how a lot of, you know, the cats in Houston, you know, they're, because, you know, the local radio stations have been riding with it. But how the paradigm has changed is that the more popular and the more people listen to traditional radio, the more corporatized it got, to where, you know, it's all formulas about average quarter hours and time spent listening and, you know, appealing to the lowest common denominator. I know this doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but basically everything has been all broken down to a science as far as radio is concerned, and it's really, that's why FM and terrestrial has kind of like lost the art of really appealing to the listener. In the traditional sense. I mean, when you look back, you know, 30 years ago when AM was king and FM came on the scene as this new entity, it really appealed to, you know, again, making the listeners of radio fans and not just listeners by playing, having deeper playlists, playing album cuts, playing, you know, those popular, you know, cuts that, you know, at the time where, you know, today, you know, if the record label says, okay, this is the single, let's go with this. But, you know, if you're in the club, if you got, you know, the Young Jeezy record on, you know, people are rocking to gangster music, Thug Motivation 101, not just what, you know, the label is putting out. Okay, here's the single, My Hood. It's more than that. So I think, you know, as far as traditional satellite, you know, we are here to really embrace, to come back to your question, to embrace artists, you know, to expose new music, independent artists, you know, included in that. You know, when XM Satellite Radio launched back in 2001, there's an artist by the name of David Banner. Shout out my man, Big Face Entertainment. He didn't have his major distribution deal to Universal. He was just Big Face Entertainment, that's it. And he had came with me with this song called Get Down Like a Pimp, which later got shortened to Like a Pimp. And we were banging that record like a #1 on our playlist from like January to March, before he got his Universal distribution deal for $10 million. And I think, you know, and I'm not going to take credit for it, but I'm just going to say that I believe that, you know, from the exposure that we've given that artist, miraculously, you know, 3 months later, he got this big, you know, distribution deal through Universal. And there's, you know, a couple of stories like that I could tell. So, do we embrace independent artists? Yes. Are we about, you know, exposing, you know, new music, especially with the uncensored hip hop format? This is what that audience craves. This is what they want to hear, the next new hot cat. They want to hear, you know, who's the next on the come up. So that's what we do. And there's you know, not the politics and BS of, having to, you know, see so-and-so's, you know, independent, you know, company to, you know, make sure that so-and-so is taken care of and done so, you know, we can get a record exposed or whatever. It's not even about that. Well, let's see. So instead of doing it in this camera here, just to give a shout out to basically the entire hip hop community, all the XM Raw All Stars that's riding with us, that are currently doing shows on the channel, from Ludacris, Paul Wall, my man Graf, who we're here doing this video shoot, Trick Daddy Dollars. The ink is about to dry on the contracts for Talib Kweli, Chamillionaire, and Little Flip. So I want to shout out all those cats. Of course, I want to shout out my right hand, Miss Kitty, who you can hear if you have XM Radio on there every day from 4 o'clock East. And everybody else basically in the hip hop community, that rides with XM Satellite Radio. We got nothing but love for you, but we do this stuff. And I have to catch myself a lot of time because it's an uncensored format. So, you know, I have to catch myself a few times. But everybody that's riding with us and that supports, you know, the hip hop movement, we're always going to keep it real and keep it in the street.